What's up, everybody? This is Jeremiah Smith with Just Some Guy Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing the DSC Custom Gunworks compensated barrel. So whenever I received it, there were three things that came in the package. The first one was a card from David Simcik with a very nice custom job that he did on the back. All of the contact information there. It came with its own recoil spring, which I compared this to the one that comes with the Staccato P. Normally I run 115 grain ammunition in mine, so I usually use the light recoil spring or the one that's got the blue paint on it. And I did notice that this one's actually a little bit shorter, so that was just first thing that I noticed right out of the box. And then I also received the almighty compensated barrel from DSC Custom Gunworks. So a couple things right off the bat as far as impressions go. I did notice, that it's integrally comped into the actual barrel itself. So there's not any work that you have to do. It is meant to be a drop-in barrel. So as soon as you receive it, you should be able to throw it in your Staccato P. You should be able to start ripping and roaring, and you should be putting lead down range. I did also notice that the coating that they used on it is actually the DLC coating, the same that what they use on the actual Staccatos themselves. So for those of you who are perfectionists and who like everything to match, you're going to absolutely love that feature. In addition to that, it's got a pretty good sized compensated window at the very top that's going to let the gases out. And it's overall actually a pretty compact package. It's not one of these giant oversized competition compensators that, come out to about here and have 47 windows at the top and all the different things like that. So I noticed, first thing, very low profile, very compact. I received this to go on the Staccato P that I have. Honestly, I would actually love to see this for a Staccato C2. I think that that's really where this would shine. But overall, it did great with my Staccato P. I'm going to be including some footage so that you guys can see how it runs. But one of the things that I really like about it overall so far is that it's actually made out of hardened steel. So low profile, drop in, durable, DLC coating. This thing seems like it's genuinely made to last. A lot of thought went into the design, you can tell. So we're going to go ahead and show some footage of how it runs real quick. Alright, so now that you've seen how it performs, we're going to go ahead and do some pros and cons. The first pro is going to be that obviously it shoots flat. So this thing held on target wonderfully. Whenever I was shooting it, there wasn't a lot of muzzle rise, there wasn't a lot of felt recoil, and I know that 2011s don't exactly have a huge amount of felt recoil to begin with, but I could definitely tell the difference between that and the 4.4-inch standard barrel that came with it. So I'd say for the first pro, shoots flat. Second one, allows for good follow-up shots. So as I've said in previous videos, I'm not exactly the double tap king. I don't have all the best military experience or any kind of formal law enforcement experience. I'm just some guy. So I'm a guy that goes out and shoots, tries to take care of his family, that kind of thing. So as far as double taps, it's not exactly my forte, but I did notice that I was able to get very good follow-up shots. So I was able to stay on target for longer and shoot better. One of the other things that I noticed was whenever I was shooting the construction of it, really solid, There were no mechanical failures of any kind. There were no issues with failure to feeds, no issues with failure to ejects. And to be honest, I was a little worried, a little apprehensive with it being a drop-in barrel as opposed to a fitted barrel. So I had ordered a threaded barrel before, and I used that for the Cadre comp that I have. And the fitted barrels performed great. I was a little nervous to see how a drop-in barrel would do, but I can tell you no issues as far as the reliability. Every bit is reliable, every bit is good. The only thing I did notice for those of you guys who care to check for it is whenever I would rack the slide, you can hear it does sound like there's a little bit of grinding in there. It doesn't impede the function, and I think part of that would be parts that wear in, but that might just be something, that if somebody ordered one of these, that might scare them or they might wonder about the function. I can tell you it functioned just fine. There were no issues with it. That's just kind of the nature of drop-in parts versus hand-fitted parts, but no reliability issues whatsoever. Another thing was the actual the coating for it. So whenever I was shooting, I've had some of the compensated guns that I've had before. That whenever you start shooting, you'll notice that the actual the inside gets kind of white and powdery and chalky. This one did not. So this one actually stayed very clean. I would imagine part of that would be because of the DLC coating, but I was very impressed with that. So there were no light powder burns on it. There weren't any problems with the coating starting to overheat or burn up or wear out. It stayed great inside there, functioned wonderfully. Another pro that I would say with this was the shipping. So if you're not gotten the chance to go check them out, go over to dscgunworks.com and look at some of the different pistols that David Simcik has made. They're works of art. They are beautiful. They honestly, he's got some of the different ones that, I'm a big fan of some of the designs that he has on the slides. I like some of the compensated barrels and compensated guns that he's made. Also, big fan of the look for the V8 port. I have not got my hands on one yet. What I would really like to see eventually is for somebody to just kind of do the ultimate compensation and porting test, and to get the stack port, the chunk port, the V8 port, and then go ahead and get like the Cadre comp, the DSC Custom Gunworks comp. And I saw the other day that Dawson Precision is releasing a comp that is called the Ice. I might need to reach out to them and see if I can do a review for them as well. But I would really be curious to see how these would function. So the standard staccato is head and shoulders above any other pistol that I've ever owned. I've owned several different ones. I've had Glocks, I've had Smiths, I've had 1911s, I've shot Berettas, I've shot Springfields, I've shot a whole different kind of pistol altogether. I've shot some revolvers, different things like that. None of them compare to the staccatos. Whether it was the first one I had, which was the Combat Master, the Costa Carry comp, or the Staccato XL that I have, my P, the C2, all of them are already on their own wonderful. So just to see how good we can make it, I would be curious to see if eventually we could get a video of all the compensators, all of the porting done for it, and just see which one is the one to rule them all. I think it would be a great video. Somebody with a lot more money and time than me should probably be the one to do it. Somebody who's maybe an expert, because after all, I'm just some guy. But DSC Gunworks, because they already have a machine shop, and David's been making 2011s for a long time, and they're beautiful. He knows what he's doing. Great machinist, great gunsmith. A little bit of disclosure, I did send my Staccato P to him in the past He did a trigger job for me, and it was whenever I found out that I was going to be getting the Cadre comp. I wanted to get I wanted to basically make it as close to the XC as I could. So I did send my pistol to him, and he did a trigger job, which took the poundage from 4 pounds to 2.5. So that's the only real past history I had had with him before this. And then he reached out and said, "Hey, I saw that you're doing a review for the Cadre comp. I'd really like you to do one for the DSC Custom Gunworks comped barrel as well. You'll have to send it back. I do not get to keep this, but I think that's a good thing because it helps keep the review unbiased and helps keep everything above board. But I would say, first off, great work on it and great shipping time. Whenever he had sent that message to me, I told him, yeah, sure, I'd love to review it. That was at about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and then the next day I got a notification from UPS saying that it had shipped and it was on its way to my house. So very responsive in that. So that's another major pro. As far as the cons, it's even really hard to call them cons, but the first one would be the fitment of a drop-in barrel versus the fitted barrel. So one of the things that I did notice, it's very subtle, but the actual alignment of the compensator with this, if you notice, it is slightly off center. So whenever I was shooting, a lot of my groups with the compensated barrel were headed to the left. Now there's a couple things that could be. That could be the drop-in barrel with the fitment, but the other thing that it could very well be as well is I actually have the adjustable Dawson Precision tritium sights for my pistol. So with that, I have sighted them in and adjusted them to where they would fit the 4.4 inch barrel that I have and the threaded barrel that I had previously that I put the Cadre comp on. So I had them zeroed in for that. They weren't terribly off center. They were maybe 2 inches off. So that could very well be the alignment that I had with the shooting style that I have with these sights. So it could very well be that if they had been sighted in by a gunsmith, it would have been straight on. So whether or not that's an actual problem with the fitted barrel or the drop-in barrel, or whether it was just my sights, that's just something to consider. Is, if you're getting one, it's awesome that you can put it straight in the gun and put it to use, and it performs wonderfully. But if you were going to get it for competition, I would say maybe double check and make sure that your sights are going to be on target. Then the only other thing, and even with that, I wouldn't really consider it a con. I would consider it a personal preference. So I've seen several of the compensators that they make for, Bull Armory, SVI, Infinity, STI, and you'll see a gun that's basically like this, and they're made into the barrel, and they'll come out maybe this far, have all kinds of different compensated, or have all kinds of different porting windows at the top of it. And those, I can't imagine those being practical for your carry use. This I can definitely see for carry use. So it's a smaller profile. It doesn't get in the way of your guide rod. You can see the way that it fits right in there. It's actually got a cutout for that. So it locks up perfect. It fits really well. It's small. That's not an actual problem. But if somebody's used to the compensated barrels for some of the competition guns and they're used to the extra weight on the front, it might be a little different than what you're expecting. However, for instance, if it was somebody like my wife, I had purchased her a Staccato C2 Duo, I think that this compensator would be perfect for it. I think it would plug and play awesome on there. I think it would fit really well. And it would be a good compact package, but it would also help keep the kick down. It would help keep the muzzle rise down. I think it would actually be a wonderful addition to a Staccato C2. I think it'd be great for one for like my wife. She doesn't have any real problem shooting her gun, but I didn't really have any problem shooting my staccato P, and I decided to go comped. Sometimes if you can go better, why not? And it doesn't void your warranty. That's one of the beautiful things about this, is with it being the drop-in barrel, it in no way, shape, or form affects your warranty with staccato. So those are my thoughts on it. Like I said, there's not really any cons. It's just kind of perspective, philosophy of use, things like that. Personally, I would recommend getting it. It's $380, but it's one piece. The threaded barrel that I had gotten made for my P from Staccato cost $600. It was DLC coated black, but it was $600 for a barrel coated black. This one, the base price for it is $380. You can't buy the regular bull barrel for that cost. So the idea of getting one and having it go ahead and be compensated, it's a win. It's an absolute win. And so, personally, if you had a threaded barrel for like the limited editions, or if that was one that you just chose to get and maybe you wanted to run a can, maybe you like suppressors or different things like that, and you don't necessarily want to rock set or thread lock a compensator onto the end of it, this would be a very good option. I also think this would be a really good option for any carry gun, whether it's your Staccato P, whether it's your Staccato C2. It really keeps the muzzle rise down. It really makes the follow-up shots better, and it's so small, it's so compact that it really doesn't add any more issues to carrying. So I know for myself that's a big consideration. For my wife, that's a big consideration. So overall, I can't see a downside to this item. Um, just kind of closing thoughts. If there's any questions that anybody has, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will try to get back with you as soon as I can and be as responsive as possible. I am also going to be doing a review that's going to basically be a comparison review between the Cadre comp and the DSC Gunworks comp. So both of them are wonderful pieces. Both of them function very well. Some of them have different strengths where other ones do not. So I'll be doing a comparison video for that, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. And overall, if anybody has a chance to head over to DSC Gunworks and take a look, I would recommend doing it. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.